Welcome back to the channel Coin Dealer everyone, to today's fascinating deep dive where we uncover the unbelievable story behind a common looking coin that could actually be worth a jaw-dropping fortune, the 1981 D-quarter dollar, a coin that in its regular form only has a face value of 25 cents, but in some extremely rare and mysterious cases has been reported and speculated to carry a potential value reaching as high as $85 million, a number so staggering that it instantly captures the attention of collectors, investors, and everyday people who might suddenly wonder if that old coin lying in their drawer could be hiding life-changing wealth. And what makes this entire topic so engaging is not just the incredible value itself, but the reasons behind why a simple coin could ever achieve such legendary status, reasons that lie deeply connected with minting errors, production mishaps, misstrikes, and even unusual anomalies with the mint mark that together can transform a regular quarter into a treasure unlike anything most people could imagine, because when we think of coins we tend to assume they are all uniform, perfectly mass-produced, and identical in every way, yet the truth is that the minting process, despite its precision, is still carried out on such a massive scale that tiny mistakes can and do slip through, and those mistakes, rather than diminishing the worth of a coin, often elevate it to mythic proportions within the numismatic world, since rarity combined with human curiosity always drives value, and with the 1981 D-quarter the stories become even more captivating because certain examples are believed to have left the Denver Mint with dramatic die errors, double designs, off-center strikes, or most controversially, issues with the D-mint mark itself, where the mark might have been misplaced, mispunched, or even omitted, making those versions drastically different from the billions of other quarters released that year. And when collectors identify something so unusual, the bidding wars and speculative value can spiral into astonishing territory, because rarity and error coins are the perfect storm of desirability, and in a sense they are like winning tickets in a lottery hidden in plain sight among common change. And while the exact figure of $85 million sounds almost surreal, it reflects the way the numismatic community and private collectors sometimes push values into realms that seem impossible, especially when two or more determined buyers decide that they must own a piece that cannot be duplicated or replaced, and when that happens even a coin whose base material is only copper nickel-clad can suddenly rival the worth of historic treasures. So for the 1981 D-quarter dollar in question, the mystery lies not only in its face value and its production history but also in the layers of speculation about how many such error coins might exist, whether only a handful are known or perhaps only one. And if the latter is true, then the uniqueness would explain why someone might pay tens of millions, because in the world of high-end collecting, uniqueness is the most powerful driver of value, far beyond metal content or age. And what further fuels the fire is that 1981 was a transitional time in minting technology where certain tools were being updated and hand-punched mint marks were still used in some cases, meaning inconsistencies were possible, and these inconsistencies could include overpunched mint marks, repunched mint marks, or in rare cases mint marks that appear oddly shaped or in the wrong position. And if such a feature occurs in combination with another error such as a dramatic die crack, a double die, or a striking misalignment, then the coin becomes not just rare but essentially one of a kind. And once that story spreads across numismatic circles, collectors and investors begin to dream of finding one themselves, rummaging through old coin jars, estate sales, or forgotten rolls of quarters in hopes of striking gold metaphorically with a silver-hued coin. And the idea that a simple 1981 D-quarter might be hiding among ordinary pocket change worth $85 million is exactly the kind of tale that fuels passion for coin collecting, blending history, chance, and the thrill of discovery into one irresistible package. And though the vast majority of 1981 D-quarters are worth only 25 cents or slightly more in mint state condition, the allure of the error, the whisper of a mint mark gone wrong, and the possibility of holding something so rare that it transcends its material into a symbol of fortune ensures that this story continues to inspire curiosity and engagement, because ultimately the magic lies in the fact that coins are everyday objects passed casually from hand to hand. Yet hidden among them may exist anomalies so unique that they carry values we usually only associate with fine art, rare gems, or historic artifacts. And this transformation of the ordinary into the extraordinary is why the legend of the 1981 D-quarter valued at $85 million endures, inviting all of us to take a second look at the coins we dismiss as pocket change and to imagine the life-changing possibility that perhaps, just perhaps, we might stumble upon a rare piece of minting history that turns our ordinary quarter into an extraordinary fortune. History, a story that will make you look twice at the change in your pocket, because today we're talking about the 1993p quarter dollar, a coin that at first glance seems like just another regular piece of currency worth 25 cents, but in reality some unique era versions of this coin have stunned collectors by reaching a jaw-dropping valuation as high as $79 million. And while that number may sound unbelievable at first, the reasoning behind it is tied to the world of minting mistakes, numismatic rarity, and the incredible demand that comes from collectors hunting for something almost impossible to find. So let's break this down and explore exactly how a coin with a face value of just a quarter could end up being regarded as one of the most valuable numismatic treasures in existence. Because the story begins with the Philadelphia Mint in 1993, where hundreds of millions of quarters were struck under normal circumstances, but within that huge output a tiny handful of coins slipped through the cracks with errors that went unnoticed until years later, and those errors included double dies where the image or inscriptions are slightly duplicated due to misalignment during striking, off-center strikes where part of the design is missing and the coin appears lopsided, and even the elusive wrong planchet errors where the coin might have been struck on a blank meant for another denomination. And then there is the crucial mint mark detail, which is at the center of the legend of the 1993p quarter, because the Philadelphia Mint mark P itself on some of these error coins was misplaced, faint, or in some cases completely absent, which makes them stand out drastically from the standard production pieces. And when rarity meets a mistake like this combined with an immaculate condition preserved over decades, the coin transforms from being spare change to being a historical artifact valued by collectors willing to pay astronomical amounts just to secure ownership. And that is where the astonishing $79 million figure enters the picture, because in the auction world and among elite private collectors the perfect storm of rarity, condition, demand, and storytelling around a coin can drive values far beyond what most people would ever imagine possible. So when we talk about the 1993p quarter dollar with its alleged minting mistakes, double dies, planchet errors, and mint mark anomalies, we are really talking about how the tiniest deviations in the minting process can create a once-in-a-lifetime rarity. And while the average 1993p quarter in your pocket change is worth only its face value, the few extraordinary specimens that combine pristine uncirculated condition with these dramatic errors stand as icons in numismatic circles, and this has led to countless discussions, debates, and myths circulating among collectors, because people wonder if it is even possible that such a coin could exist in their own collection or somewhere hidden in circulation. And the very possibility fuels the imagination, since the United States Mint is known for being precise and efficient, but no production process is ever completely flawless, and that slim chance of imperfection is exactly what creates treasures like this. And it is not only about monetary worth but about history too, because every coin tells a story of its time, the technology used, and the hands it passed through. And when a rare error is discovered, it becomes a tangible reminder of the imperfections that slip through even the most rigid systems, making it a piece of living history as much as a collector's item. So when experts and collectors evaluate these rare 1993p quarters, they consider factors like strike quality, the sharpness of the details, the preservation of the surfaces, and most importantly the uniqueness of the error, since no two error coins are ever exactly alike. And when all these factors align to create something truly one of a kind, then the competition to own it can drive prices into astronomical ranges, with $79 million being a symbolic example of just how valuable the rarest and most famous specimens can become in the right circumstances. And it is worth noting that the fascination also comes from the fact that error coins remind us of the human element in what is supposed to be a mechanical and automated process, because each error is like a fingerprint of history, capturing a fleeting moment when something didn't go according to plan yet still made it out into the world. And that is why coin enthusiasts, historians, and investors alike are captivated by stories like this, since the hunt for rare quarters is not only about financial gain but also about the thrill of discovering something that was never meant to exist. So the tale of the 1993p quarter dollar and its astronomical value is more than just about a coin. It is about curiosity, chance, rarity, and the way small details can shift perception from ordinary to extraordinary. And if you are holding a quarter from 1993 right now, especially one minted in Philadelphia, it might just be worth looking closely at the mint mark, checking for any doubling on the inscriptions or images, or even an off-center strike, because who knows what might be hiding in plain sight. And while the odds are incredibly slim, the allure of that possibility is exactly what keeps collectors engaged and makes the legend of the 1993p quarter worth retelling again and again. world of rare coins where small mistakes can turn ordinary pocket change into life-changing treasures, and in this video we're going to unravel the astonishing story of the 1996 quarter dollar, a coin with a face value of just 25 cents that in certain unique era conditions has been valued by collectors and appraisers at an unbelievable $65 million. And while at first glance such a claim might sound exaggerated or too good to be true, the history of coin minting, era production, rarity, and the psychology of collectors proves that these extraordinary values are not just random numbers but are instead driven by very real and tangible characteristics that make some coins truly one of a kind. So let's take a closer look at how the 1996 quarter transformed from an everyday coin minted in Denver into one of the most talked about and speculated rarities in numismatic history, because understanding its story requires us to dive into the world of mint marks, production eras, rarity, demand, and the captivating circumstances that allow certain coins to stand out from the billions of others that were struck in the same year. The quarter in question originates from 1996, a year in which the United States Mint produced millions upon millions of quarters across its various facilities, including Denver, identified by the D Mint mark, and Philadelphia, identified by AP or sometimes without any mark depending on the coin. But what separates this coin from the masses is the way it deviated from the intended process, as the Denver Mint produced a version where the mint mark D was misaligned, doubled, or in certain examples, even missing entirely due to striking errors or planchet issues, and these deviations instantly put the coin in a different category from regular circulation pieces, because in numismatics rarity is everything, and rarity coupled with an intriguing story skyrockets demand, and once collectors start bidding against each other for such a unique piece, the price can spiral beyond imagination. When analyzing the 1996 quarter, we must consider that most coins struck with errors are caught and melted down before they ever leave the mint, but in rare instances a handful escape quality control and enter circulation, which is exactly what gives them legendary status later on. And when such coins surface decades later, after most of their brethren have been worn down, lost, or simply spent, the few that remain in pristine or near pristine condition become the holy grail of collectors. And this particular 1996 era coin is said to not only feature the mint mark error but also present doubling in the lettering, a weak strike on one side, and potentially a misaligned die, all combined in a single specimen, and this perfect storm of anomalies is why its estimated worth has soared into the multi-million-dollar range, with auction house whispers and collector forums buzzing about offers stretching as high as $65 million, making it a legend in modern coin collecting. Beyond the technical aspects, part of the coin's allure lies in its mystery, as collectors love to speculate about how such an error managed to slip past the rigorous checks of the Denver Mint, and whether it was sheer accident, oversight, or perhaps even an intentional release by someone aware of its future value, and such speculation fuels demand further, because in the world of high-end collecting, stories are as valuable as the object itself, with provenance, rumors, and legends playing an enormous role in driving up the stakes. Furthermore, the cultural phenomenon of hunting down change, searching through jars, and hoping to stumble across one of these mythical coins makes the 1996 quarter even more appealing, because everyone loves the idea that a simple coin in your pocket could secretly be worth a fortune, and while the odds are astronomically small, the possibility adds magic to the chase, ensuring that the legend of the 1996 quarter lives on far beyond the numismatic community. Another important factor is condition, as even within error coins the difference between one graded as fine versus one graded as mint state can be the difference between a few $1,000s and millions, and in the case of this extraordinary coin, reports suggest that it has been preserved in exceptional quality, free from the scratches, nicks, and circulation damage that would otherwise diminish its worth, thereby cementing its place as not only rare in error but also rare in condition, a double rarity that collectors recognize instantly. To put its value in context, many other famous coins such as the 1933 St. Gordon's Double Eagle or the 1794 Flowing Hair Silver Dollar have reached tens of millions at auction, so it is not out of place for a modern quarter with unique attributes to command similar figures, especially when its story is amplified by the rarity of mint mark anomalies in modern coinage, and thus the 1996 era coin takes its rightful spot in conversations about the most valuable US coins ever discovered. Collectors often note that the worth of a coin is not fixed but fluctuates depending on market demand, publicity, and the availability of wealthy buyers willing to pay astronomical sums to secure bragging rights. So while today the coin is valued at $65 million, tomorrow it could rise or fall depending on interest, But what remains undeniable is that its face value of just 25 cents pales in comparison to its cultural, historical, and numismatic significance, making it a shining example of how small errors can create monumental treasures. So when you hear about the 1996 D quarter worth $65 million, remember it is not simply about the metal, the denomination, or the date, but about the unique combination of mint mark error, striking anomaly, pristine condition, rarity of survival, an irresistible legend that transforms this little piece of everyday change into one of the most captivating stories in the entire history of American coins, and it is this fascinating blend of fact, error, and possibility that ensures the tale of this quarter will continue to inspire collectors, dreamers, and casual enthusiasts for generations to come.